Welcome to 1188 Outside the Box, where unconventional wisdom reigns and conversations know no bounds, inspiring curiosity and self reflection on a journey towards personal growth in an authentic space to think freely outside the box. I am your host, T Liz. This episode's guest is Darrell D.P. Patterson of Heat Extreme. Join us as we discuss the unforeseen pathways of life, self reliance, family, business, and legacy. Let's jump right in. DP, welcome to 1188 Outside the Box. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
So, you want to tell us a little about yourself, or you want us to come out during the process of this recording?
I'll let it come out.
Yeah, that's a common answer.
I can give you a 2-page bio.
Yeah, because life be life, okay. If you can describe your life thus far in 3 words, what would they be and why?
If I could describe my life in 3 words, resilient, persistent, determined.
Mm-hmm. What has made you know that you're resilient or persistent and determined?
Resilient will come from just all the things I've been through and not letting those things break me. Persistent will come from just the passion of wanting to get to the next level or reaching levels and continuing to climb. And what was the other one? Dedicated.
Or determined.
Or determined. Just I'm never satisfied. So, determination is always something that I think would describe me a lot, if you ask people, just because with, being an entrepreneur and, dealing
you gotta
with,
be determined.
and going through your highs and lows.
Gotta be persistent and resilient too,
yeah, so you gotta have all those things in play in order to be successful, or even to call yourself an entrepreneur, just because if you haven't dealt with any of those things or overcome any of those things, then you're probably not there yet.
Right. What is success for you, and how has it changed over the years?
I think now it's more of a feeling of accomplishment or completeness of certain things. Years ago, I would say accolades may have determined that, or
right. But it's the feeling, right?
Yeah, it's the feeling. Just actually going through a process, and I think in order to see yourself or call yourself successful, you would have to have reached a certain success, then dropped, and then came back and accomplished it again.
So that you can appreciate it more, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that appreciation would be the feeling.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have had the same appreciation had you just gotten straight to it.
Right.
Right. You had to take a segue or work a little harder to get to it, which makes you appreciate it more.
Right.
And sometimes God would do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
He'll tell you down, like, okay, it's all you?
Okay, then. Me a lot.
Yeah. Oh, it's all you? Okay, let's start this over.
Right.
But then the gratitude after that is just like, it's priceless.
Exactly.
And it changes who you are and your perspective, and it kind of helps mold you into like who you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
As you evolve, because you're not supposed to stay the same person, even day to day, much less year to year.
You change as a person.
Yeah.
Some people change monthly, yearly.
Yeah. Daily.
Exactly.
By the moment, they can go over there and come back and be like, dang, what happened? Who are you right now?
My mom says, when I was a kid, I asked my mom the other day, I said, am I anything like my kids? Are my kids anything like me? She said, yeah, they're both split images. I used to wake up in the morning and ask you, who are you today?
Right. Who am I
Because I just had all these different personalities. Wanted to be a certain type of person, but yeah.
You just think you still got a lot of different personalities? I think we all do at some
Oh,
degree.
definitely. There's Darrell and then there's DP.
Yeah.
2 different people.
Darrell's just laid back. Family.
Yeah.
DP is business.
Exactly.
Get down there.
Yeah, he's gonna be a little more
aggressive.
DP, a little more aggressive, a little more fun to be around. Darrell a little boring.
Yeah, is he boring?
He a little boring. They both funny though.
Yeah, they both funny. Yeah, I think I've experienced both.
Darrell a little laid back though.
So you say I heard a caught where you said you're never satisfied. I talk to people a lot where they don't take the time once they accomplish a thing. They don't take the time to appreciate that they just accomplished it. Don't even notice of that they appreciate that they accomplished it because here go the next goal. Like I've hit this goal, here goes the next goal. So how do you navigate through like determination or ambition and contentment?
I mean, I think that I don't know if I can say I'm content because there's always some room for some level of growth. I'm always striving to grow and
be better, right? Because God, I don't think I could ever be content with where I am in life as far as because I know that there's so much to learn, there's so much to change, there's so much about me that I still don't know.
Exactly.
And then if I work to get rid of the trauma or whatever it is, right? Because we always got some shit going on. We always have something going on. I think it's our life's purpose is to evolve, continuously evolve, and to see ourselves so that then we can be a help to others.
Exactly.
What's your core value and how does that help you navigate through life? How does that help you make daily decisions in what it is that you're doing? What's your core value?
Some of my core values would be integrity. And I think though that in itself kind of helps me navigate through a lot of different things. Just doing the right thing when nobody's looking.
Man, go ahead.
Because for me playing basketball, if you want to be better, then you're putting in work when nobody's around, nobody's watching, and you're working on things. And in order to get to another level, you have to. Again, sports kind of teaches you a lot. You have to go through certain steps, and there's no before you dunk, you got to be able to lay up. Right. Before you can play in a game, you got to practice. So there's steps before getting to the bigger stage. So I think integrity is one of the biggest ones. Just doing the right thing when nobody's watching.
I think that one will take you far.
Yeah.
I say that to Nova all the time.
That's something a lot of people don't value.
Yeah.
For some reason, and it's funny because I learned that more about people the more I work with people.
Right.
I mean, people don't have that kind of stuff, and I literally just touched on that with my group, and I'm like, the community that I build is about positive, great energy, things of that nature. And it's built off of being positive because everybody's there. Everybody has the same goal. They want to either lose weight. Right. They don't have time for someone pushing them down or talking about them, talking behind their back. And you know what I'm saying? I kind of express to them.
That'll tear you down, make you not want to come back.
Yeah, it makes people not want to be involved.
You can get that anywhere. Let's not do that here.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I kind of had to just go over it, because every time I have a program or a challenge, I kind of make sure they understand that there's certain guidelines and rules that we got to abide by, especially in here, because people are paying their money you don't know what they're dealing with, right. And what they have going on. And, I've met a lot of people who they'll see the community and they'll want to be a part of it. And that was probably like one of their main attractions. And they wanted the sisterhood and to be able to bond with people because they didn't have that.
Yeah.
That'll
help take you a long way.
Yeah. So you just got to be mindful and understand that, people have insecurities and you want them to be vulnerable and express that stuff so they can grow, they can let go of stuff and get that weight off their chest or off their back or shoulder.
Right.
So
wherever it's at.
Yeah, wherever it's at.
That's funny. You speak of community, you speak of this program. What is it?
The Heat Challenge. It's actually bigger. So Heat Extreme is a umbrella company. I house supplements. I just launched a agency called the Lift Agency. So we help people scale their business on the back end.
Okay.
I have the Heat Challenge, which is a quarterly program. We give away money for transformations. And what else? Heat Extreme, Heat Challenge, Heat Performance, and Lift. Yeah.
And then you
So
have your classes too.
and then my classes, yeah. So and then the app. So Heat Extreme app is where I kind of host like all my programs are subscription based. You got live classes and
I know.
AI meal planner. You know about the Heat Challenge.
I do. I know all too well, but I've seen you flourish and grow as a businessman.
Thank you.
And branch out so that you can sustain.
Oh yeah, you got to.
Yeah. Legacy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that's here even when you're not.
I'm hoping one of these kids want to do something with it.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to groom into it, just like the other people do.
I think it's gonna be my daughter. That might be
That's probably who it's gonna be.
Yeah. Because then I'll be like.
And girls just love their daddies anyway. We kind of do what they do and watch them and see certain things. That's beautiful. That would be great if she did. What would you say is like one of the most impactful pieces of advice either you could give or that you've received that you use in your life and that has just kind of changed your perspective on some things?
Always bet on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that for me, it's I'm not gonna let myself down.
Right.
I know my capabilities, and I know if I'm determined enough to do something, then I'm gonna do it.
And do it good, do it right.
Yeah, I
Not
think
half-ass it.
Right. I think I've come to a point now. I teach this master class group called the Inner Circle, Winner Circle, and it's pretty much put in play for. It comes from the Heat Challenge, but we go. It digs a little deeper than like our accountability calls, and one of the things that we kind of touch on is accomplishing their goals. So at the beginning of the year, I kind of told everybody to give me at least 5 goals that they want to accomplish. And I'm talking about the end of the year, we're going to accomplish those goals.
Now, are these fitness goals or just overall goals?
Overall goals. Yeah, because we just go through. It's a lot of self-reflecting, and it's like the first part of it was kind of building a mission statement for yourself. There's a lot of book reading, a lot of reflecting, and then each one of the goals that we have, and we kind of touched on this earlier, was making sure each goal had a start date and end date and action steps to go with it. Everybody that I work with when it comes to accomplishing goals, when we follow this type of structure, it's a lot easier to accomplish your goals because now you have a clear vision on what it is.
Right, the vision to make it clear.
Yeah. That's one of the things one of the things I touched on is just the word clarity and what that means.
Right.
And when you have clarity on your goal, then it's a lot easier to accomplish.
Exactly. And your why about it.
Right.
So if somebody wanted to do this program, how would they?
They can either DM me Inner Circle, Winner Circle, and they
can start at any time throughout the year. Didn't have to start at the beginning.
And whenever they start, they'll see all the stuff that we kind of went over. We meet twice a month on the first and third Thursdays. I give them a 2-hour window if we need that much time. But it's a real intimate setting.
What made you want to do that? What did you see?
So because I did the accountability calls, and I put a lot of time into the calls, and I didn't want to take the calls away because I thought that they still held value. I just didn't feel like the information that was given and how deep I started going to stuff was really appreciated. So I did a few different challenges, like the last 3 to 5 challenges I did. I kind of really dug into self-development and motivational speaking, and just kind of dug in a lot of stuff, and the stuff that I was giving people, and they was actually benefiting from the stuff.
Right.
People was buying houses, getting their cars, things that they never thought they were going to be able to do. They was actually accomplishing during this time. I'm like, you know what? Let me see what I can do here, and I just started doing the work and putting together courses and outlines and doing research and just
How'd
trying
that make
to
you
grow.
feel?
I think for me it's just another. It's the same thing with the Heat Challenge, just being able to work with people and take them from
serving people is what you do.
Take them from one place to another, and whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, like I get a rush from that.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of living in your purpose. With you, I think that if you find great joy from it and you don't mind doing it, it's a lot of hard work, but you are like, oh God, I gotta go do this. Then you know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to be doing. Because a lot of times people will get up and they'll go to do a job or maybe even something they created that they don't even like anymore, and it becomes a burden.
Exactly.
So if it's not that, then it's definitely what you're supposed to be doing. Yep. And that's great that you find joy in other people's joy.
Yeah.
That's that Pisces. That's that soft shit.
But you hit it around the head. I do. I actually just, I don't know. It's just my whole makeup, you know. And I think when people actually get to know me, they're like, "Yo, he's actually a genuine dude. Like, he really care about the stuff he be telling me. Like he remembered it."
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's good stuff. That's all right. Did you see that in yourself?
Nah, I didn't see none of this. Like fitness, anything dealing with fitness was never a thought. At all.
Like, you kind of flowed into it effortlessly.
Yeah, it just started taking over.
Yeah.
But it was never you couldn't tell me 15 years ago I'd be doing this.
And then when you keep being blessed in it, that's how you know you're living in your purpose. Exactly. Like one of the things is because we have many purposes, right? Like another is fatherhood for you, right? Raising your children. And did you ever see yourself being a father? Did you want more? Did you want less? Like, did you want girls, boys? What?
I knew I wanted to have kids. I wanted to be married and all that stuff. But I could never really see what that looked like, you know. But now that I have a son and a daughter, now that there I'm content. I don't want no more kids.
Right. Now in contentment, you got it there. I got
there. That's it.
Straight. Got a boy and a girl.
That's all I
Best
need.
of both worlds. I'm
boy
straight.
Was the oldest girl. Yeah, that whole lineup was perfect. So yeah, thank you, God.
Right. Amen. Right now, because you never know.
Right. Cut these things off. It's just fun watching them grow.
Right. The great part of fatherhood. Yeah. What do you say about the men who choose to be absentee fathers?
Shame on them. I don't want to understand it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't even fathom not being in my kid's life. And I come from a broken home, but my parents, I have a great relationship with my mom and my dad. So not being in your kid's life is crazy to me.
Diabolical.
And like your son needs you in so many different ways to understand
that a mom can't give.
Yeah, how to be a man and you know the talks that we have, and I just could talk to him differently. You know, like we have a total different relationship than him and his mom. And a daughter just being able to daughters are different, man. Like,
are we?
Yeah, because like I always have to just think about what she's going to experience and build a relationship with her. So she kind of like she knows not to open the door for herself if she's with a man. She knows to walk on the inside of the street if she's with, like, there's certain little stuff that I'm kind of like teaching her. I don't ever want her to be excited about
the little things,
the little stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I take her to get her nails done every other week. I define, like, I kind of date my daughter,
Right.
a lot.
Being an example for her.
Yeah.
So, like you say, she's not really excited about the little things that she should have
Yeah,
experienced, but
because
then,
when I,
my
whenever
daddy
she
do that.
says she want to
I'm
get
used to that.
married
So
and
yeah,
he comes and asks, like, that's gonna be a big job. Like,
right.
I do a lot for my daughter.
But then you know that she'll know what to look
Oh
for,
yeah,
or what she'd set the expect. You're having her set the expectations,
exactly.
which is great.
And she has a force already, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
Yeah,
fun watching her grow up.
right. Your relationship, your father growing up, did that mold? How did that mold how you're a father now, and the expectations you set for yourself of being a father?
I have a lot of my dad's characteristics, and I think the way that he went about teaching me certain stuff or certain conversations that he had, like, he's very short with words, um, and very simple. Like, he simplifies stuff to make it extremely understanding. So for me, it was always, um, I guess, just making sure I built that type of relationship with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably a little bit more, I don't know if loving is the word, but I'm just
Probably
very
affectionate.
affectionate,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
with my kids.
And I think that's just your personality type.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, like my parents, like people, like I was never affected by their divorce.
Mm-hmm.
The time I spent with him never changed.
Right.
Um, he just wasn't necessarily in the house
Mm-hmm.
anymore. And then after I started growing up, I'm like, I don't even know how y'all was married.
Right. You look back and see and realize certain stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think I don't think that it shaped or formed um, anything in my life. People might say, well, you got kids and you ain't married anymore. But um, I think when it comes to, marriage, it's a growth thing. You have to know who you're dealing with, as that person went through stuff. Are they working on themselves? Are they
Mm-hmm.
even
All of it.
ready to be in a relationship?
Right.
Um, because, you got people that bring so much
Baggage.
baggage with them and they haven't addressed or fixed or worked on those
Mm-hmm.
things,
Mm-hmm.
and then get into another relationship and
Mm-hmm.
things don't work. So I don't necessarily look at my parents' shortcomings to align with mine. I think that relationships are just that, relationships. You are partnering with somebody that comes from a different background. You don't know their traumas. You
Right.
don't know how they deal with stuff.
Right.
And eventually you start peeling back those layers and they start exposing who they truly are.
And it's either you grow with
Yeah,
it
and you
or
see
you don't.
if y'all can make it work or if
Mm-hmm.
not,
Mm-hmm.
Like me and my son's mom, um, it was a pride thing. We didn't have anybody talking to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we did, we probably would have made it work.
Right.
But we're still like
Hoping
real
it
good
will.
friends. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably, if I had to say, if I had a best friend, it's like somebody kind of knew me inside and out, I would say she does.
Mm-hmm.
On so many different levels. She kind of knows.
You.
Yeah, like, all right, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna push over here because he's gonna
Yeah.
go here. I kind
Uh-huh.
of know when. You kind of just learn somebody. Of course, like I said, we've known each other for 20 years.
And you've seen all the different stages of each other within
Oh yeah,
that time, which I think relationships or relationship friendships or anything that lasts that long are so special because they know who you are,
yeah,
and they can look back at a time where you were just totally
yeah. She
different.
seen me at my
Yeah.
highest, my lowest. She
Uh-huh.
seen me when I started,
Right.
before I started working,
Yeah.
right out of college. So yeah, she learned. She knows me inside and out.
Right. As you do her, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, and that's great for Denim too, and that's very mature of you. There's proof that children, boys and girls, but boys specifically, need their father because there's
Oh
certain
yeah.
things that a mother's a mother.
She just can't
She
teach.
cannot
Certain
be a father.
conversations a son's
That's
not
just
gonna
it.
have with his
We don't
mama.
even know how to have those kind of
Right.
conversations. So for me, the men that choose to be absentee fathers, they see now because you're at an age now where you see whether you're the effect
Yeah.
Or whether you see the effects around you of when there's no father around.
Exactly.
Not to just take that and commit to your responsibility. Right. It's just like crazy to me to say, oh well, you know, it's the moms being this or that. There's nothing in the world that can keep me from
nothing. Like
nothing in this world.
I think I vowed to make sure that I didn't make seeing my kids would never fall in the hands of their mother.
Right.
Not saying that they wouldn't. I just made sure, you know, like again, Denham lives 45 minutes from me.
Mm-hmm. Everybody do, I think. I think everybody do.
Yeah. So, you know, like I'll pick him up, I'll drop him off. Like I'm not going to give you the opportunity to say you can't do something, you don't want to do it, or
you take the responsibility to do it.
I'll do it, like
because you want to.
I want to see my kids. So,
yeah,
you know, I see my kids pretty much every day. Yeah.
You're in fitness now. What were you doing before fitness? You said 15 years ago you wouldn't be able to tell me I'll be doing this. But how'd you get here?
I got here because I got fired. So out of college, I went into like a management program and started off at Lowe's. I worked there for 7 years, and then got fired from there, and then went over to Home Depot and got fired from there. Mm-hmm. So I was in corporate America. I was an operations manager. That was the last thing that I did for a corporate company. Was an operations manager. So yeah.
Did you enjoy that?
Actually, I did. You know, especially at Lowe's, like, you know, being there for 7 years, you kind of grow with the company, and I moved up from supervisor to operations manager.
Did you like the growth path and what seemed like success, or the actual act of the job?
I liked both. Mm-hmm. Because again, I was out of school, so it was something new. Mm-hmm. I seen that, you know, just like basketball, with, you know, putting in work, I can get to a certain level. I like the fact that I was growing at a fast pace. Mm-hmm. It put me in a position, you know, I bought my first house at 23. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I like the people I was working with. I'm still talk to a group of them still to the day.
That's cool.
Yeah, like I built a nice life, you know, doing that before. But I guess God had something different for me.
Right, because you wouldn't be here if they didn't fire you.
Oh nah, yeah.
How did you take that being fired? Were you angry? Did you say, okay, well, did you end up in entrepreneurship because you was like, man, I'm not going back to corporate America. They done tried me twice already, or was that always in your heart to be an entrepreneur?
No, it wasn't in my heart to be an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. To me, I didn't have another choice. Mm-hmm. I got fired twice, and the second time was right before my son was born. So that kind of bothered me, mm-hmm. you know, to the extent of, you know, I'm about to have a kid and I'm the breadwinner, and I didn't seem to give a fuck about this, like, at all. Mm-hmm. So that kind of did something to me mentally, to say, you know, you'll never catch me working for somebody else ever again. Right. And that was kind of the draw for me to kind of never go back to corporate. Yeah. Would you say that was one of the defining moments in your life? Yeah, definitely. Because I was hurt, you know, like, again, I enjoyed what I did. And I was, you know, growing at a fast
I had that
pace.
same experience.
So, and I didn't know what I was going to do next. It just kind of just happened.
So I had that same experience, but I think I've always had entrepreneurship in my spirit. When I was 19, I had a plan. I was like, I'm gonna work for 8 years. Yeah. By the time I'm 30, I'm gonna have my own business. I had my own, like, I didn't plan on working with people.
I ain't had none of that stuff.
Because I didn't want to. I don't like to have to be nowhere at a certain time. Right. Like, never have. So even though when you're an entrepreneur, you still have to do that. I'm doing it on my own time. like, because I want to, right? And so I have little purse pop-ups and like little things along the way I've had. And then I got to work, right? Went to work for this insurance company. I started because I started college and I stopped. Every time I would get to the money, I would stop going to school because I'm like, I don't need this. What I need this for, right? But it was always for education. Then I go back and I stop. So I got at this insurance company, and I started as a receptionist, and I worked my way up to like claims, and I was like the poster child. When people came in for an interview, they talking about Tashira, and this is what her path is, and this is what you can do. Like I went from that to them growing a little bigger. We moved to a bigger building, and they expanded to California, and all of a sudden it was like they were laying people off, and the people that they were paying a certain amount were like the first ones to go. So I was pissed off. Because I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm the poster child now. You putting stuff together to get rid of me, for me to be gone. So after that, I was hurt. I was there 6 years. I was devastated. But I definitely felt what you felt when you was like, oh, hell, are they going to fire me? I'm never going back to corporate again. Because if somebody going to take my money away, it's going to be me. It's going to be my fault.
It's going to be my fault.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can't live with somebody else having
the power. That you can come to work and be the great employee, but then there's like, oh, it's time to cut back.
We change the direction.
Like, really? So you don't care how I'm gonna eat? Okay, got it. All right then. And people always say, like, because people are like, I gotta go to work. But then if something happens to you, they will have somebody to replace you faster than you can be buried.
Exactly.
And why do you think sometimes people, they're dedicated to that job or dedicated to the job, but not dedicated to their goals to create their own business or
self-doubt? Not knowing self-worth. Because I think that going back to that whole betting on yourself, when you're more dedicated to something that you don't necessarily understand could be taken away from you at any given point.
They don't believe in themselves. But they believe in
they might believe in their ability,
right, but not to actually do it. They believe more in the dependability of when they know that if they put in this work at this job, they're going to get this check, and they know the amount of the check, and so they are having more faith in that than they have on the uncertainty of going off on their own, starting their own business, and not knowing how much you're going to make every month.
This is all the stuff I teach even with my. I have a thing called the Lift program, but even with the Lift agency, I touch on moving from a secured check to an unsecured check, and the difference between the two, and it's basically how you treat them. You know, being or coming from training. I'm not too much training anymore, but coming from that field, you know, and meeting all these trainers, you know, everybody's like, "Oh, I work for myself. I got my own business, my own job." And now when I start asking questions and digging a little deeper, like, no, you just create another job for yourself. Like, you got to be there every day in order to get paid. Like, there's nothing about anything that you're doing is what you call a business. A business has systems, it's scalable. It runs even if you're not there. That's why you get vacation and things of that nature. But if you don't put that same structure into what you call your new business, then you're going to be chasing money and you're not going to have a secure paycheck. Because ideas don't pay your bills, businesses do.
They do. Yeah, businesses do those ideas that you bring to fruition through hard work, and not procrastination.
And I tell people all the time, the opportunity of a lifetime is in the lifetime of the opportunity. So procrastination might
pass that over.
Yeah, you
Or
might
take you longer to
you
get
might
there.
miss something, the best thing that could ever happen because you
Right.
was hesitant or
Right.
second guessing,
Or you didn't just follow because I've been thinking and saying lately, whenever I feel like I'm flowing, that's when I know I'm on the right path. And then when there's resistance there, because sometimes there's resistance to make you stronger, but then there's a different type of resistance that you fight against, trying to make this thing still happen when it's not supposed to be.
Right. I think we know about certain stuff. We just don't want to accept it.
Yeah, of course we know it.
Yeah.
That's why we're fighting against it. But then when we just release and let go and just go with the flow of the path that has been laid for you, right? Life is the greatest.
Yeah.
Like you're happier than you can ever think that you would be.
Or you be praying for stuff, and then when God give it to us or put it in front of us, we start questioning it.
Right.
How dare you do that?
Right.
Like, you asked for it, you put it in front of you, and now you're
just because it don't look like how
second
you
guessing
think
him?
it should look. Yeah, because it ain't how you think it should look.
Right.
It ain't come in the package that you thought it should come in. But you still know that is what you wanted.
Right.
But you might have to put in a little bit more work than what you intended to put in, or just anything. But you still complaining.
Yeah.
And had a prayer fulfilled.
It was all there.
Yeah. I can definitely think back on times in my own life where I've done that. What is something unusual or quirky about you that most folks wouldn't know? That they just wouldn't believe?
That people wouldn't believe?
What ran in there that you say, no, I ain't saying that?
No, I think a lot of people don't think that I'm quiet. Like, they're like, nah, you ain't crying. I'm like, nah, like, I actually am. Like, a lot of people meet me and they meet DP, so they kind of meet me in a certain element. But outside of that, I'm like I said, I'm real laid back. People probably wouldn't think, when I tell them the fraternity I'm in, like, a lot of
What
people
fraternity are you in?
Iota Phi Theta.
Oh, okay.
They're like, we never would picture that. I'm like, well, it's different up north. Like, I can see why people wouldn't think that, but
I didn't even know you were a part of a fraternity.
Yeah, I'm part of 100 Black Men of Atlanta. My Prince Hall Mason.
When you find time for all that?
I don't know.
Just made the time, right?
Yeah.
People make the time for what they want to do.
Make it to what I can.
Ain't that the truth, though?
Yeah.
But people make the time for what they want to do.
Exactly.
Because you're never really too busy for what you really want to be doing.
That's too many hours in the day to not do stuff. You just got to figure out
how to do it.
Pull back in some. You got to pull back in some areas.
Right.
Some got to give.
Yeah. I'm going to give you 3 words. You're going to pick a word, and you're going to expound on it. Okay. Pick one of the words. Peace, dedication, or belonging.
I'm going to go with dedication. Dedication, I think it kind of just shapes, if we're talking about like the aspect of a person, it kind of just shapes who they are. If I'm dealing with somebody that's dedicated, or if I'm dedicated, they're going to be on time. They're going to always show up. The consistency factor plays a play.
You're going to care enough to give it the effort to work through it, to fight through it, especially if it's relationship-wise. Like, it just depends on what you're dedicated to.
I want to be around dedicated people.
Yeah.
Or be a dedicated person for somebody. So,
yeah. Because that makes you reliable.
Yeah. They're definitely an asset at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm all about holding value, being valuable.
Right.
Showing value, giving value. Right. Up your prices. Not your price financially, but your value as a person. Right. Be irreplaceable.
Right. And knowing when you are.
Right.
And knowing what to accept. Boundaries are then set because you know your worth, right? You know your value. Yeah. A lot of people don't have that.
No.
A lot of people don't know their worth, because we're all worthy, right? But a lot of people don't know their worth, therefore they don't set any boundaries, and then that extends to being not dedicated to themselves, which is not dedicated to anything else, and this is
Again, this is all stuff we talk about in the inner circle, winner circle, just because it comes around full circle. I think everybody has something they're dedicated to.
But is it helping you?
Right.
Be dedicated to binge watching Netflix.
You be dedicated to going to work.
Yeah. But is that helping you? Especially if you have a dream to start a business.
Exactly. I think everybody has a successful factor in them. It's just identifying what that looks like and what it takes to be successful, and aligning that with something different that you want to be successful with. So tell people if they're successful at work and you've been promoted and you're constantly moving up, there's things that you've done to get to that point.
Right.
You weren't the person that was late or clocking in late or skipped all the time or wasn't stepping up. You are that person who's there on time, probably early, before work, after work, taking on new tasks. You're doing more, you're committed more, you're dedicated more, and that's what got you to that point. So you take those same principles and apply them to anything else you want to be successful at, and chances are you're going to be successful.
HX Fitness.
Yeah.
That was like the gym. Me and Crystal still talk about
HX
Fitness.
Gym.
Oh my God, it changed my life.
Right.
It did. That's why I still have a passion for fitness as it is. You taught me I'm strong. That's why if somebody try to train me and they try to give me these baby weights, I don't want that.
Right.
Like, what are we doing? Right? Even though you're different. But anyway, just different. But you're the reason why I know that I'm strong. That's and why I like lifting heavy, and I know that I can do it, and I know it. All that stuff works. But because HX was my first like trainer's experience, all that. Never had a trainer before or any of that. So it was that type of gym life experience, and it was such a community. Right. Everybody, there was gym drama. Of course, there's drama anywhere you go, but it was just like we loved each other, right. And it was a family. And when you went, you knew who you was gonna see, and they motivate you, and it was just great. I was there 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
We be there all day and day. It
was. Like, she still?
I did. I miss the gym. I don't miss the trainers at the gym, but
right.
Like people always say, you gonna open up another gym? Like, I mean, I miss having a place to like teach my classes, and having that community and building that community, because that's hard to do when you don't have a necessary home gym.
Yeah.
And I kind of experienced that a lot these last few years. Like I'm kind of at the point now where I'm like, do I even want to? Not that I don't want to teach in person. I think my focus has shifted from like promoting in-person classes. Like I'm more like, I like teaching online. Like I love teaching online. Like it's my little studio back there. Right. I got my people. I see everybody online. Right.
And it's fun.
And I'm traveling and doing all, and everybody kind of meets up. And I don't know, it's just a different experience now.
Right.
So, and being able to travel and go anywhere, and people kind of know what you're doing, and all that. I kind of like that.
And then people just being all around, knowing, what Max is and all that, knowing what you're ready to do. That feels great, and all from online. Yeah. So that's wonderful. And I think that you're probably also transitioning to more of a background, like DP kind of fading away and Darrell taking over. Because Darrell, like, can we just have these businesses let them run themselves so I can just chill?
Exactly. Like I don't want to. I definitely don't want to train no more. So I know this might be my last year as far as like actually training. I don't mind training. I just can find a better way to spend my time.
Right.
And I don't want to keep, trading time for money.
Yeah. But I hear that, child. Time is priceless.
I think now I'm kind of shifting to more growing, other trainers, putting them on the platform, putting them on their own platform, and growing and leaving their legacy that way. That's just kind of been my shift, because I know I ain't gonna be teaching classes, not like jumping around and all that too much. I still love doing it, but I'm about to be 43, so
That don't mean
I
nothing.
think after a while
That
they're gonna
means
stop asking
nothing.
me to do this
No,
stuff.
I doubt it.
I mean, I know I'm good. Like I know I'm good at it.
Mhm.
Like that, I don't have a question in doubt. But I think like I'm just it's a matter of time because I keep saying I'm about to start doing this Tuesday night class. Like I'll be having 50, 60 people online.
You still doing levels?
No, I don't do levels no more.
Oh no.
I want to, but I kind of want to do it in like during the day. I said again, I want to do it online.
Mm-hmm.
Like I only need like 2 or 3 people.
You want to do it online?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily in person.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the online community. It's just
it's easier too.
like trust me, you probably get more out of me online than you do in person. Yeah, I know you do.
Right, because you enjoy it more.
Yeah.
That's where you're navigating.
I get to talk to everybody one time and get whatever I got to say out, and whoever got questions, I can answer those questions. And I just think it holds more value online. It's just fun. Like they at home, I get to talk shit. You know, I love talking shit.
Right. Yes, you do. And then you play good music.
Right.
Yeah,
so
that
I be in
matters
my
too.
own little zone, play my music, get to talk shit, help people with they, whatever it is that we're doing, and go from there. Like I can teach classes all day long, like cardio classes, but the training side of it, that's where I kind of, because I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to like form and certain stuff. Like
I know
it although I enjoy the process, it's mentally taxing. I'm over the high of training. And I think like even on Instagram, like my whole approach on Instagram is just different. Although I can still do all the stuff I used to do, I'm just more so about positioning myself to be more valuable to people in this industry. So my my delivery and my approach online is on social media is just totally different now. Like you still get glimpse of who I am, my personality, but I'm not really showing my workouts and
that type of stuff.
That kind of stuff no more. Like our trainers can go through form and all that. Let me actually talk to them about shit that really matters.
Yeah, reach the people.
Like your food and certain supplements and what you need to start doing and paying attention to versus.
Because really, you can work out all you want to. If
you can work out. Nutrition. You can have the most fucked up form and still get results. Like that's the beauty of fitness. But I think that there's just different things that people need to hear and understand more than just going in the gym and working out.
Yeah, the food part.
Right.
Yeah, because you could go to the gym all day long, and if you eat one meal that destroy that workout, then there's no progress.
Right.
People don't get that sometimes.
And it's not even a one meal. It's not knowing how food responds and knowing what you need to pay more attention to. Like you can have certain foods, but did you position yourself to eat them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to stop eating certain stuff. You just have to be a little bit more mindful, a little bit more disciplined, and you can still have those things. Like you don't have to stop eating pizza, stop eating X, Y, and Z. Stuff's not going to kill you. Now it's not the best thing to do, but if you understand where your calories need to be at, for the day, and that puts you well over your calories. Well, if you know you're well over your calories, then how are you going to,
get the results you want?
Get the results that you need, or how are you going to counter that? Now you got to do extra and do more. And once you start realizing how much more and how much extra you got to do, then you might think twice about the decisions that you're making. So it's kind of just, I think my approach now is just, I've always approached from a client standpoint. So being able to have the conversation not across the table but side to side, and make things a little bit more relatable. Um, and explain how 1+1 =2 in the fitness world. Because I think a lot of people are doing 1+1 and they're getting 3 and 4 and 5.
That ain't it.
There's a reason why you're not losing weight. There's a reason. Something like you're missing some steps, or you're not educated or don't know certain stuff. So for me now, it's kind of bridging that gap. So at least you know what to do. I feel like if people do my program, they walk away knowing how to transform their body. Now, whether it's up to them if they want to do it or not.
Right. What's next?
What's next? People always ask me that question. I have no idea. I've never been the guy that'll give you like my 5-year goal plan.
Because you might plan it and that might change.
Yeah, like I've just always the best way to explain my life is in my own lane. And I always, try to explain that to people, like, you don't ever want to follow after anybody or do what other people are doing. Because, and I equate it to like driving on the highway. They might be in a slow lane, you might be wanting to go faster than that, and if you're following them, you're going too slow. They're in the fast lane, they might be going too fast. But when you're in the HOV lane, your own lane, you kind of can go fast, slow,
navigate your own speed.
You go do everything.
Turn off if you want to.
Yeah, so I don't know what's next. I got a few different things that I want to get into. I'm doing real estate, but just kind of maybe get a little bit more into that. And then the Lift agency is a back-end scaling business. And it's right now it's for trainers, and Lift stands for leveraging internet for trainers. But anybody can do it. Like I've actually have a few clients that have nothing to do with fitness. One's in real estate, and I'm scaling his course back in. So I planted a lot of different seeds. I got instructors for levels, instructors for max out. So a lot of different things have been planted, just waiting to see how those grow.
Well, thank you, DP. I appreciate your time. Any final words?
Everybody need a trainer in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, some way, shape, whether it's of the mind,
right,
the soul,
yeah,
or the body. Absolutely. Jerry, you said some really profound things today. You just be saying stuff. Anyway, thank you, DP.
No problem.
This was a great conversation. I enjoyed it.
It was. I can't wait to see how this turns out.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to 1188 Outside the Box. I hope you enjoyed our discussion. Until next time, be sure to follow us on Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Anywho, thanks again for listening, and until next time.